So what else? This bike, like I said, out of the box, it's friggin' amazing. If you're even watching this video, you probably already know what this bike has, but I'll just tell you anyway, since I'm making this video, why not? So it's got a Magura hydraulic clutch, which, if you don't know, the main benefit of a hydraulic clutch is that it actuates or engages at the same point, no matter how hot the bike gets, or even in terms of the clutch plates and all that stuff. Whereas with a cable actuated clutch, you're going to find that as you ride the bike more and more, and as it gets warmer and hotter, the cable will stretch, the clutch plates, the friction plates will change where the cable actually releases the clutch, and then you have to adjust it. Whereas a hydraulic clutch, you never have to worry about that. This particular clutch I don't find particularly easy. It's not a light pull clutch by any means, but I think there's a lever you can get that improves that. You can also change the size of the master cylinder if you really have an issue with that, but so far I'm happy with it. So comes with a Magura clutch, stock. It comes with WP suspension, as you can see, front and rear, fully adjustable, which for me is really important. I think when you're riding any bike, if you want to go faster, the first thing you should do is look at the suspension, because that's what causes you to brake really hard or have the bike handle funny. The main reason for that is because your suspension is wonky. So I think suspension is really important, so having a really high quality setup like this where you can fully adjust it to your taste really makes a big difference. Okay, so Magura clutch, WP suspension, Brembo brakes front and rear. The brakes are fucking awesome. You know, what can you say? They work. But yeah, they're really sensitive. You have a really good feel of brake control. Obviously the front is stronger than the rear, but yeah, they do the job really well. I think that's pretty much it as far as the aftermarket, well, the stuff that comes on the bike, but it's not, I think actually WP might be owned by KTM. Anyway, I think the bike also looks fantastic, which makes a difference, right? I think when you walk away from your bike, you should look back and go, yeah, that's my bike. I just think the lines are really clean. The fuel is in the back. This is the gas tank here, but you can't tell. So what that does is, obviously, when it's full, it lowers the center of gravity as opposed to having it up front here. But that's, you know, it's not a huge difference because the gas tank is so small anyway. I think it only holds 2.5 gallons. So that's whatever. Well, there's two things that they've changed on these bikes, which I haven't tried a newer one, but with the orange or black rims, they made a tubeless spoked rim. These are not tubeless. These have tubes, and I know that because I've gotten a flat out here, and it fucking sucks, because then you have to pull the tire off. You have to put in a new tube or patch the tube. You can't just you know, have a tire patch kit on the side of the road. So that's kind of shitty. The second thing is, well, there's actually three things. The second thing is the newer ones are actually 690 cc. This one is 654 cc. So they have a little more power stock, and they also have a dual ignition, so it improves the timing of the bike, and again gives it a little bit more power. So yeah, that's the bike in a nutshell. I love these kinds of bikes because of the fact that you can go to places like this. You know, they're still fast on the street, they corner really well, they brake really good, they've got a lot of torque, they're very fun, they're easy to work on, single cylinder engine. I mean, as you saw earlier, when you pop the seat off, the valve cover is right there. If you need to check your valves, or change the cam or any of that stuff, like, it's really easy. Oil changes are fairly easy too. That's the other thing I noticed after buying this bike. I don't know if you can see it, but there's my new oil plug. I just changed it out. That's actually for a car. It's a 14 millimeter by 1.5 pitch plug. I think it's for a Honda or any sort of OEM old Japanese car. But anyway, whoever owned the bike before stripped that out, and so they had to recut the thread and put in a bigger plug. But it hasn't leaked, so I guess I'm safe with that. I don't think oil changes are that difficult. There's 2 filters, and then a couple oil screens that you have to clean. But I mean, hey, what can you say? Great looks, great performance. It's not cheap. I paid right around $6,000 US for, you know, this is a 2009, so an 8-year-old bike. But the mileage is low, so, you know, and it looked like it was in pretty decent shape. I think whoever owned it took care of it, so yeah. Anyway, now I'm kind of rambling. So that's the bike. I think it's pretty great. Highly recommend getting one if you can afford it. If not, get a Husky SM610. Like I said, I had one of those too. The one thing that I didn't like about the Husky was that parts availability was difficult. I did the maintenance on that bike too, and I just felt like the maintenance intervals were too short. You know, I can't even remember what the specs were on it, but like doing I think it was valve checks, and the one I had was carbureted, which I don't really mind that, but you really have to take care of those bikes, otherwise they just crap out on you. Plus that bike just felt a little less quality, just the metal and everything. I don't know what it was, but it just seemed like it wasn't engineered as good. Still a lot of fun, you know, very fast, a six speed just like this, which is one of the reasons why I got this. You can go on the highway no problem. It's still really light. Or if you're kind of strapped for cash, I still love the Suzuki DRZ 400. Time tested. I mean, that bike has been out since I think 2001, and they haven't changed a goddamn thing on it. It's still fucking, it's exactly the same as when they first came out with it. And that tells you something about the original engineering of the bike. It was done properly. It's super high quality. The bike I had was a 2007 10-year-old bike. I went ahead and just modded the crap out of it because it was so cheap to do, and I got it for such a good price. Like those bikes you can pick up for, you know, $2,000 if they're kind of fucked up, and then just fix them up a bit. Three to four if they're in better shape. Anyway, I put an MRD pipe on it, put an FCR 39 millimeter carb. I changed the cams. I think I changed the sprockets too. I have another video about that. You can check that out. But that bike was tons of fun. But it's just, again, I go back to the quality of the components on the bike. This bike has way better suspension. The brakes are better as well, and obviously the engine. It's got way more power, and it has 6 gears. So when you get on the freeway, it's no problem. The DRZ was a lot of fun. But I always felt like I was just wringing it out. I was always just full throttle. Even with the 434 kit, I was pushing maybe 50 horsepower, probably more like 45. This one stock comes with, I think, 65, and even more with the newer one. So fantastic machine. I love the DRZ. Is super easy to work on. Parts are cheap, easy to get. But the KTM dealership that's near my house, they've been great too. They've always got parts in stock, and they're very friendly. And the parts that I buy from them are the same prices that are online. So it's a good deal for me, for sure, to have this bike. So I would say if you can afford to get the KTM and you have availability of parts, or you have a mechanic who knows how to work on them, they're not that hard, you know, go for it, because definitely an awesome bike. You can't go wrong. All right, I'm gonna go home. It's fucking hot out here.